Today's question comes from Mike Slick. He's at the Christian Apologetic and Research Ministry. His question is, how did Joseph Smith carry home the golden plates of the Book of Mormon, and how did the witness lift them so easily? They weighed about 230 pounds. Gold, with a density of 19.3, weighs 1,204.7 pounds per cubic foot. The plates were 7 inches by 8 inches by about 6 inches.
It is the duties of an elder of the church to preach the gospel of faith, repentance, and love of Christ, to watch over and strengthen the members of the church, and to be a witness of Jesus Christ at all times and in all places. I am an elder in Israel.
Okay, he has a great point in how much about the gold plates. But let's do a little research, okay? First, let's look at the weight of the plates. Martin Harris said that they weighed between 40 and 60 pounds. William Smith, Joseph Smith's younger brother, said the same thing. That they judged them to weigh about 60 pounds. Now, let's take a look at the dimensions. All accounts say that the dimensions are about between 6 and 7 inches wide and 8 inches long and about 4 inches tall. Now, he says 6 inches, but I'm curious if the 4 inches is just the actual plates that Joseph Smith translated. And so there was about 12 plates, according to what I've found on research. And each one is roughly about 1/8 thick. Now, Emma Smith, Joseph's wife, said when she was cleaning, she would fill the tarp that was over him, and she said that they felt as thick as common tin. So we're not 100% sure about any of the dimensions. We're just going on rough estimates. And so and I'm jumping out on a cliff here. If the unsealed portion of the plates was about 12 plates total, it's roughly between 12 and 16 plates is what I heard. That means there has to be between 24 and 32 additional pages that are sealed. Okay? Now, Mike Slick, this is where things are going to get a little interesting. Mike Slick assumes that they were made out of solid gold. Now, anyone who has handled solid gold knows how malleable it is. It's easy to form. Experts would say that it's impossible to write upon them and keep their shape for thousands of years or hundreds of years. And so this actually doesn't hold too well. But then we look at further research on this. You read the testimony of the 8 witnesses, and it says that the plates had an appearance of gold. In fact, several accounts have called it, they had the appearance of gold. So what kind of metal would have the appearance of gold and have it strong enough to hold up from being written on and being in a single shape for hundreds and hundreds, over 1,000 years, almost 2,000 years. What kind of metal? Well, I started doing some research, and there is a metal in South America. It dates back to Mesoamerican period, and it's called tumbaga. This was discovered by the Spaniards that the ancient Mayans had. Now, tumbaga is a unique metal. It's gold and copper combined, and it could have anything from like 80% gold to 30% copper, or any mixture in between. So, and when it's at the right formula, it would have the appearance of gold. Now, if you look at these artifacts found that are made out of tumbaga, you'll see that they indeed have an appearance of gold. Each one of these is very nicely done, beautiful. You wouldn't know that they aren't gold if it wasn't for the fact that I'm telling you this. They're very well done. Now, here's another thing that's interesting. Back in 1926, there was a gentleman by the name of Edward Herbert Thompson, and he was excavating at Chichen Itza near the 20th century, and he was enthralled with sacrificial cenotes. And unlike other archaeologists, he believed the Spaniard priest Diego de Landa accounts of offering at this location, determined to find himself, began to dredge in 1904, donning a diving suit to search the muddy bottom himself. And this can be found in a book called The Mystery of Ancient Maya, New York, published in New York under Margaret K. McElderberry Books in 1995. Further research shows that he worked for 2 decades doing this. Now, he had slowly taken artifacts from this site to the Harvard Peabody Museum at Harvard. Unfortunately, when the Mexican government found out about this, they confiscated it all. And according to this article is on Deseret News. It's called Ancient Gold Plates in Mesoamerica. And it says here, because Thomas, the Peabody has perhaps the best collection of Mesoamerican artifacts outside of the region. However, because of space and financial issues, most of these objects are not on display, but rather archived in the museum's immense storage facility. Now, in a book called Chronicles of the Maya Kings and Queens, published in 2000, it records, and mind you, these are non-Latter-day Saint publications. It says, Thomason found carved jade tools, gold ornaments, copper axes, other obscure metal items, along with human remains. Now, many people know about some of these artifacts, but in fact, very few of them know about the gold plates he found. Many of them were decorated with images of warfare and sacrifice, showing bearded Toltecs, and this was published by Simon Martin and Nikolai Grube, and it's Chronicles of Maya King and Queens, published in the year 2000. Some of the Mayan hieroglyphs, the gold came from as far away as Panama, and it is possibly that it was brought by Chichen has blank plates to be carved there. And this could be found in Handbook to Life in the Ancient Maya World. So there are precedents of gold plates being found down in South America, and very possibly these were, while they looked like gold, could have been Tumbaga. But so now here are some interesting things about it. Now, Tumbaga also can be made out of gold, copper, and silver. Do those sound familiar? Well, they should. Here, let's do this. Let's go to 1 Nephi chapter 18. All right, and then we're going to go where was it? Oh, am I looking? Here it is. Verse 25. And it's near the very end, but I'm going to read the whole thing. And it says, "And it came to pass that we did find upon the land of promise, as we journeyed in the wilderness, that there were beasts in the forests of every kind, both cows and the ox, and the ass and the horse, and the goat and the wild goat, and all manners of wild animals, which were for the use of men. And we did find all manner of ore, both of gold and of silver and of copper, the ingredients for Tumbaga." Fascinating. Now, how much would, given the dimensions of that we have of the Book of Mormon, what would the weight of the Book of Mormon be? Well, since it has copper, it's going to be lighter than if it was pure gold. So the weight of it could roughly be between 60 and 100 pounds. That's a rough guesstimate. So William and Martin Harris both accounted that they could have weighed about 60 pounds. This actually fits with what we get when we look at Tumbaga. So here we see another question that is deemed by the Christian Apologetic Research Ministry difficult questions to be answered. But we also see that through due diligence in research, we can see that everything can be proved correct if you're willing to give the time and sweat. Okay, that's all the time I have for today. I do thank you for joining me. I hope that by answering this question, I know that there are people that are not going to accept the answers that I give. But this is for people who are earnestly seeking truth and are willing to put out a little faith that God has the answers. So until next time, brothers and sisters, take care and stay thirsty, my friends.